Okay. I can't breathe. It's like soup out here. So, it's July 20th. Just to give you an idea how hot it is out here. But it's literally been like soup. I got the 315 in the driveway. Today's a Thursday. I have a job I want to do with this, but then it got held up because the lady didn't do what she was supposed to. She was supposed to have the deck taken off the house and like some other stuff moved so we could do an addition. Well, she didn't do that, so I thought maybe I'll take this time to pull out the floor mat, because these machines are notorious for having rusty floors, because everybody gets in here with wet feet. That's just the nature of the business, and your wet feet and everything drips and it goes in between the floor mat and runs through these holes right here, all of these holes, and then the dirt gets in there, and then the vibration of the machine. I personally hate floor mats. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna put this back. My mini excavator had a rubber floor mat in it when I got it, and I threw it out. My skid steer, I cleaned the floor and threw it out. Let me show you the mini real quick. Hey, why don't you lay in the shade? No? What's wrong with you? You wanna go out back? Come on. Alright, so this is the floor in the mini excavator. There is no rust anymore. I had wire wheeled it down. Well, it's time to paint it again, but you can see where my foot rubs. But it is so nice and clean in here with no rust or anything because there's no floor mat. I vacuum it out every now and then. Most of the time I keep one of these brooms in here and look at, just sweep it out. Obviously I didn't do that on the last job, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna put the floor mat back in the other machine, because I mean, look how nice this floor is. Same with that machine. The floor on that is really nice. I actually have a video called DIY Sandblaster where I pulled out the floor pan in that machine and I sandblasted it and then put it back in. That is such, Takeuchi is such a well designed machine for maintenance, in my opinion. I do have a ton of other stuff to do, but it's like, if you don't make time to do this little stuff like this, I mean, when are you gonna do it? You know what I mean? People always say like, oh, you know, does that really have to be done right now? Like, well, when is a good time to do it? There's no good time to deal with rust. What I've been doing is I just run over everything with the Harbor Freight special needle scale gun, get all the loose stuff off of it. I did that. I'm gonna do a little more, then we'll vacuum it out. But I'll be honest with you guys, I think I might wait until the sun goes down, because I can't even put my hand on that. It's like, it's so hot. Alright, it's like 6 o'clock. It's still muggy out. I thought it would get cooler out, but anyways, that's what we're gonna use to paint this floor. I have used that before on my other machine and it is held up pretty good. I will show you right now. Okay, it was raining when we brought this back. I didn't do a good job of cleaning it off, I know. Shame on me. But it just got unloaded off the trailer and brought here. But this paint, or rust-proof stuff, this is about a year old, and you can see it's got some heavy gouges in it from rocks and stuff, but it held up for a year. I'd say that's held up pretty good, you know what I mean? Looks like I got a run when I did paint it. But as you can see, other than running it through rocks and stuff, which is going to happen, seemed to have held up pretty good. And I painted all under there with it. I don't know if I painted under there, if that's just a gray paint. I do know I painted all this. So that's painted the final drive with it. I know this hits rocks and stuff, you know, when you're shaving a pile or in the dirt. This thing's probably gonna leave tomorrow anyway, so I think that's topsoil. I think that's what it was. Topsoil, that's why I didn't want to clean it off here. It's going to another topsoil job tomorrow, I believe. If not Monday, because tomorrow's Friday. So I'll clean that off on a job, not here. I don't want to mess up my parking spot, but as you can see, that stuff holds up pretty good. So, and it's a rust converter. Alright, I must be out of my mind. I don't know. I could have just sprayed this with this stuff and then painted it, you know, with this prep stuff. But, I think I'm going to take the petals off because there's a rubber around the bottom there, and I just found more dirt stuck in the rubber. So, if you're going to do it, I guess do it right. Nope. Gotta get an extension. This is already way more involved than I wanted to get. This is like a winter project. This is the stuff I'm going to do in the shop once I get the shop built. It's all staked off. I just don't want to start it right now. It's too hot out, and on top of that, I'm just busy with work. Look how clean these bolts are. So the sticks just bolt right to the valves. This is like the valve, I believe. Might be wrong. I don't want to rip the rubber. There we go. Put that in the cup holder. This floor is solid, big piece of steel. I think it's just got surface rust. It's starting to cool down though. It is so nice out now. Problem is I don't want to make any noise because it is super late. And I don't want to bother all my neighbors. Alright. We are way into it now. I don't know if I should take these foot pedals off. These foot things. I probably should. I'm probably gonna. I don't want to, but I'm probably gonna. I really don't want to. Just do it, Steve. Just shut up and do it. Those bolts look kind of rusty. I think I'm going to soak them right now with some PB and then take them off in the morning. I couldn't wait till the morning. I was impatient. I wanted to see what it looked like underneath. It's actually not that bad underneath here. It's just the top of the bolts that are kind of rusty. I'll probably just get some new bolts in the morning. But the floor doesn't look that bad. That's like perfectly flat or whatever. Like I said, I think it's just where people's boots got. So that one's not that bad. Top of the head's a little surface rust. Well, that is able to move around, so I think what we'll do is we'll just put some paint under it, leave it loose. Probably do the same with this too. Since we're here, that bolt head is a problem. That one is rusted pretty bad, the head. That one's probably gonna have to get some vice grips, or either some vice grips or a pound. That one broke loose. That one broke loose. I'm pretty happy so far. I don't want to jinx it. Maybe. Nope. Let's try metric. Nope. It's tight. That's what we want. Maybe it'll work. You know what I like about these Harbor Freight Union is that standard has a red ring around it, and the metric has a blue ring around it. And that's great because my other set, I just got these today because I was at Harbor Freight. Please work. It worked. Alright, we're definitely going to get new bolts. My other set, I was always putting them back when I was in a hurry in the wrong spot. But we'll get this bolt out of here. Sweet. So now I can get some paint under it. You know, maybe lift it up. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll lift it up, stick something here, and maybe a piece of wood or something, and on the other side, and then hit it with my little handheld sandblaster, maybe with the shop vac tomorrow. Alright, see you in the morning. Alright, it's Saturday morning. I had this plan to take care of this after I mowed the lawn. However, this thing decided it wanted to get a flat tire, and then when you get a flat tire on these things, you can't move them. So this thing was stuck right in the middle of the road there, so I had to pick it up, and somehow there's no tube. I gotta get this thing to seat. I don't know why this doesn't have a tube in it. Maybe it should have a tube, but you know, keeps going flat. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get like some slime or something. But I was thinking, while I got this on the lift, I should maybe sharpen the blades. It'd be easier to sharpen the blades while this is up here. So I'm gonna do this, deal with this, and then we'll get back to doing the 315. But it's like, you know, it's just nothing ever goes as planned when you're working on stuff. All right, I finished mowing the lawn. What's nice about working on an excavator is, like, look at the bench. Plenty of room to put stuff. Put all the bolts in a Ziploc bag. We don't want to lose those. I'm probably going to have to go to the hardware store and match them up. Right now, what I think I'm going to do, I was thinking of sandblasting this, but the last time I sandblasted a cab, it was the skid steer cab. It worked fantastic with the little handheld sandblaster, but it took forever to get the sand out of everywhere. I was vacuuming for like a whole weekend, and then after running the machine, we'd be driving the machine, you know, and the vibration, there was sand falling out of like nooks and crannies. So I'm gonna wire wheel this. It's good enough, you know. Yeah. Fumble hands. Okay, I don't know what it is, but every machine I've ever been in has pieces of broken glass in every nook and cranny. Guys just, for whatever reason, they just break windows. Usually the front bottom window on the excavator has been broken on every machine at least once, but I want to get every little piece out just because of, you know, OCD. And I got one last piece, and it's being real difficult. But there it is. There it is. So that's the last one in there. That makes me feel happy. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. I don't know. It seems to be like eating all of the loose paint. I don't know if that's a good thing or what, but they said let it sit for a bit, then wipe it. So let's give it a wipe. So that lawnmower earlier, that thing's not running well at all. Thought I'd just throw that out there. I guess I gotta fix that now. You know what I'm thinking? The rusty area, we should just do it again. Can't hurt, right? I mean, there's not enough of this to do another project, so. You definitely want a respirator or something. I'm outside. There's a pretty good wind, so I'm not gonna do it. But if you're doing this inside, or you know, close to inside, like maybe like by your garage or something, definitely shut the door or something, or don't let the fumes get inside, because this stuff stinks. Yeah, look at that. It just keeps coming off. That's good. You want it to. So the paint, from what I understand, is supposed to encapsulate any rust and not let the rust continue. So if the rust can't breathe, like if you encapsulate it and it can't breathe, then it won't keep rusting. Because in order to have rust, you have to have oxygen. That's why all those like World War II planes and or like Titanic memorabilia, they won't bring that up out of the ocean. Or if they bring up an old plane part, I saw this video one time where they have to like introduce it into the air like a specific way, or it'll just instantly rust. And I don't know. You know what I'm saying. And if you don't, look it up. That's what you got Google for. Google it. It's very hot out here, but I'm still wearing long sleeve shirt, because if you get this paint that we're about to use on your skin, it burns so bad. Ask me how I know that. Well, because last summer it was hot like this summer, and I didn't want to wear a long sleeve shirt. And I got it on my arm, and it burned for like 2 days. Just a burning feeling for 2 days. So I'm not doing that again. Okay, so do you want the good news or the bad news? I'll give you the bad news first. They didn't have black. All they had was gray. That's the bad news. Whoa. Oh, I also forgot, never shake these cans because they explode. I just shook the can, so that makes me an idiot, because I forgot. So, that's the bad news. The good news is you can paint over this stuff. So, I'm going for protection, so I'm going to lay it down with a brush, and when I'm done, I'm going to paint over it with black. I went and got my designated stirring Phillips, as you can see. The other thing too is this stuff smells really, really bad. Probably gonna put the respirator on and not do a lot of talking. I mean, really, really bad. I don't know if you can see it, but this stuff is bubbling up. This stuff is not like any paint I've ever painted before. It foams, it bubbles, it does weird chemical reaction and scary kind of things. So that's kind of what leads me to believe that it actually works. Anything that smells like the worst thing you've ever smelled in your life and bubbles and foams like that, it's got to do something. Okay guys, I ditched the respirator for a second so I could talk to you, because the last video I did with a respirator on painting, and I felt like I was screaming into the camera. But I don't want to talk too long, because this stuff, okay, even though this stuff works phenomenal, it is sticky. It's the second you take it out and put it on there and you're pulling it, it feels like it's already drying, and you feel like you're pushing around gum, not paint. I have sprayed this before, and it was horrible. I had to dilute it. I had to get a special reducer to spray it out of the gun. When I did the skid steer, if you want to go back, I don't know what video it was when I painted my skid steer. It's sticky. It's instantly like sticky. It's like goo. And it stinks. I mean, this smells so bad. My son came out here for a split second, and he lightly bumped into something, and he got it on his, you know, just his wrist. He reached in here for something, and I think he got that, which I didn't realize I got that. I'll clean that off after. But he got a tiny bit on, and he's like, "Oh, it's burning." And I'm like, "I told you not to touch anything." I told him. I said, "Don't touch anything." And he reached in there, and he got it on his hand. Just a little dot, like a little dot on his hand. And he, I told him, "Go get some water and wash it right away, because it'll burn." And so he went and did that, and then he came back out, and he's like, "Man, it is still burning." He goes, "That stuff was dry by the time I got in the house." Like, he's like, I had to like scrub it off. So the other thing too is like the smell. Like I said, this stuff, like, you push it around, you don't paint this. Like, see how thick and gooey it is? Like, you don't paint it nice. Like, you know, if you do that with it, now you got to get a little bit more and fix the part. You have to, it like has to be wet to flow. Just like that. It's like tar, I guess, is the best way to, it's like tarring a foundation, for crying out loud. But that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to encapsulate the rust. It's a rust encapsulator. So I mean, once you, like, see what I mean? Like, you can't keep playing with it. It's like not paint. It doesn't act like paint at all. And I'm gonna put the respirator back on, okay? Because this is like cancer in a can. Alright, so that's it. I am done. I'm not gonna do any more except for right there. But you gotta be careful, because you can't go over it. So the other thing too is, the guy at Napa told me that when they store the stuff on the shelf, they've had cans of this blow up. So when you're tapping the lid back on, chances are it's bubbling in there, and that's probably gonna blow off in a little bit. So I might just put a rubber glove over it or something, in case the top, you know, blows off, like that. Because the last time I used this stuff, I was tapping it with the hammer to try and get it to the lid on, and it actually, I could hear it. Like later on, I was just sitting there playing on my phone, and I heard this pop, and it was the lid. And then when I was telling the guy at Napa about it, I was like, "Man, that stuff, you know, worked great, but, you know, I could hear it like popping and blah blah." And he was like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "We've had that stuff sitting on the shelf. Someone shook it too much, or they shook it when they were delivering, or whatever the case is, and they had a can of that explode." So be careful. You want to lightly stir that stuff. Don't shake it. I always forget and I shake it because I'm, you know, stupid. But yeah. So we'll let that dry. Then I'm gonna do some masking off of stuff, maybe in like a day or two, and then I'm gonna paint all that black. I've used POR before, and you have to cover it in paint because it's not UV resistant. This rust off stuff is UV resistant. So if I don't want to, I don't have to paint it. I'm gonna paint it black. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Like my skid steer undercarriage I showed you guys, that was just painted with this, and that's it. Alright, so I got everything masked off that I don't want to get black on. Also, I don't want to get any paint on this surface here. Alright, so this is what I'm going to use. It's just hardware store Rust-Oleum automotive enamel. I like this. The regular Rust-Oleum paint, it seems to lose its shine over time. And this is just thicker. Probably should start farthest point in. That way we don't have to work over it. So let me climb up here. Once again, you should have a respirator on whenever you're dealing with paint. I'm not gonna, so I can talk to you real quick. Then I'm gonna get out of here. I already have to take a step back. Let me go put a respirator on. This ain't gonna work. Keep in mind, you're not gonna win any awards with this paint job, but we're just going for protection here, so we'll just close this up and let it bake in the sun today, I guess. I'll leave the front glass open just for I don't know, ventilation. Alright, so I went to the hardware store and I got new bolts. They're not the same color bolts. The other ones were like, I don't even know if I have one. I kind of threw them out. The other ones had like that brass coating on them. I don't really see needing like hardened bolts or grade 8 bolts or whatever for this. It just holds the pedals down. So I'm gonna put some bolts in here. It is hard. I am gonna put a little bit of Never-Seez on the end of each bolt, just in case in the future we have to take it apart, which I really hope we don't. But you can see, if I can get this out, you can see how much the bolt head has rotted compared to a new bolt head. If I can get the camera to focus on it, see the difference? This one's like from the side. Maybe I'll put it against the white. See all the rot? It's like it's like missing. See that right there? So that's why I wanted to get new bolts. Basically for the head, that way we don't strip them when we put the socket on them. Now, I also decided, I hit this with the needle scale, or descaler, whatever you want to call it, needle scaler. These are just the dummy foot rests. I think that we're not gonna paint this pedal because it looks pretty decent. I mean, I don't know, I might paint it, but I'm not gonna go too crazy. I'll probably just clean these up because, I mean, look at that. This is still pretty good. There's a rock in there. I'll probably just clean this up, put the rubber back on it. These are pretty good. So I probably won't paint them. I'm definitely gonna paint these though, because these are kind of pretty rough looking. And then this is the trim piece that goes on the edge here. It screws down here, and the rubber mat tucks under it, and it holds the rubber mat down. So definitely gonna paint that and those. Alright, so like I was saying, I'm going to put a little bit of Never-Seez on these bolts. I don't know why I said it like that, but I said it like that. Just a drop though, because this stuff just ends up everywhere. Is that a long one? I think the long one's going in this because it's stacked high. So I didn't put a washer with that one because it was already stuck there. This one, however, yeah, look at this bolt head. That thing is mangled. So this one, I have to put a washer on it. So just do a little dip on the end. Drop that. I am wearing rubber gloves because I can't stand. Everybody knows Never-Seez gets everywhere. Ooh. See that little groove? You got to get this part right there in that groove. The last time I did, well, the last one I did this one, I did the front first. I mean, this side first. And which I guess would be the back, because that's the front of the machine that way. And I think it might be easier to do the back first. I might get a new one of these later. It's got a little rip in it, but I don't think it's like a huge necessary thing. But we're around in the front, and the front corner is not on. So if I come around to the front here, it's weird. The other front corner went right on. It's very tempting to spray this with something, some sort of lubricant to get the rubber to go over, but I would not do it because it's just gonna hold dirt after. Alright, I got the front in the groove. I just gotta get the back. Alright, that's that corner. I've just been pinching it and pulling it. But I think that's it. Nice. Alright, I know I said I wasn't gonna, but I wiped all the dirt off the best I could, but there's a little foot rub mark there, I guess. See it? While I'm waiting for that to dry, it's very muggy out, so it's taking a while to dry. I want to put the piece of glass back in the front window. Alright, so I'm going to try to clean this glass, but it's hard to see, so what I like to do is put paper towel under it. So, see, you can see all that black paint. That's from whoever painted it last. So what I do is, because I'm not going to do the soap and water, I'm going to do just generic glass cleaner. Cover it with some glass cleaner and just get a flat razor blade. And then you can see all of the crap that is coming off. So let me clean this piece of glass and then we'll put it back in. Alright, I just took the time to clean this rubber off. This was all like covered with like algae and stuff. It was all green and gross. So I'm gonna put it back on now. It just presses on. The way that water and rust and stuff gets down in here, in that seam, is when guys run the excavator when it's raining out with the window open, and I'm guilty of it too. So okay, I'm calling this a successful fail because all this paint is good. I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy the way that came out. But I'm gonna put the pedals back in for now and just use this piece of cardboard. There was a company I'll show you that sent me this. Where is it? They sent me this mat, and I just emailed them back and said, you know, where would you like me to mail this back to you? Because this is of poor quality and I don't want to stand behind it. Then from talking to them, it sounds like they're just the supplier, so they're gonna talk to their manufacturer who supplies them with this stuff and have words with them. They asked for, you know, feedback, so I gave it to them and said, you guys are great to deal with, but whoever you're ordering this stuff from, you know, this is not from Caterpillar, and this is not of Caterpillar quality. So I'm not going to tell you who the company was, because we don't want to bash on them, because they were great to deal with. I just told them I do not wish to promote this product at all. So I will be either mailing this back to them or throwing it out. I don't know yet. But none of this fits. All down there doesn't fit. Around the pedals I could make it fit. But the other thing too is it's just poor quality, poor casting. I mean, it already has holes in it. Let's see the backside here. This is already ripped. It came like that. So I'm okay with plugging products, but I have a duty to the viewers, you guys, to not promote junk. So this to me is junk. This is not of Caterpillar quality, so I will probably go to the dealer. I mean, this is the cut that they sent. You know, it looks like a 2-year-old cut that with a pair of safety scissors, you know. Same with this. I did not do any of this. I mean, look at this. That's from the mold. So whatever mold they're using, I mean, it's just cheap. It's just poor quality. I mean, there's another spot. I mean, there's holes and imperfections all over this thing. And anybody that knows, you go to Caterpillar and you buy something, Caterpillar, John Deere, all those top manufacturers, this is not up to par with their quality. So I'm gonna go to the dealer and get the original quality part. I mean, so anyways, however, the company I got this from, I think they're like the middleman. So I'm not going to tell you who it is, because we don't want to bash on them. They've been great, but whoever their supplier is, yeah, fail. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw that piece of cardboard in here until I can go to the cat dealer this week and get the proper floor mat. But I think I'm going to call this video done. The floor thing is a success. The product is not a success. Will we work with those people in the future on the product? Yeah, I think we will, because I like the company. I just didn't like that particular product. Anyways, catch you on the next one. Me, going right. Stupid dirt bike.
No, we love dirt bikes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flag them down and ask them where they ride. Yeah.